Hi friends, in Planet Earth Dating, it's Saturday, November 12th, 2016. In both the Lynn life and the Jamie body mind, the authorized souls remain child souls from the denser, smaller regions. And in addition, we've been bifurcating today for all of us who are over and over again trying to pull our channels up, over and over again intending to get better at drawing our channels up, and over again intending to hear the advice from above. And in such a way to hear what it is we need to do in order to manifest the divine plan, no matter what anyone else does or doesn't do, and to hear what we need to do moment by moment by moment by moment by moment, because that's what it means to live a soul plan. And with that, the formally videoed portions of today's efforts begin. Our attention is being brought very strongly to all the messages we've gotten of fakers, of churches who are pretending to be what they are not, and not to single out any church by name.
That's true.
The church that we were dealing with this morning, and many other churches as well, including the church, somebody said the Church of Scientology, but they mean the Church of Science, and they're referring to what Western cultures view as science, as being simply another religion. A religion is an amalgam of beliefs, a collective template of beliefs that people believe in strongly.
That's true.
And definitely science has become a religion. And what do I base that on? The person who's speaking bases it on the fact that science doesn't adjust for new information. They continue along their old theories in the face of opposing data, and that actually isn't science. There's no scientific inquiry happening. Curiosity is an essential element of science, and wanting to know, of true science, and wanting to know what's really going on is an essential element of curiosity.
That's true.
So what's playing out and being labeled as science isn't really.
No, that's true.
Unfortunately. People are arguing, there's big argument, and they're picking out little examples that are showing that those little people that they're looking at are interested in that little question. But what about the big questions of our times? Oh, then somebody's saying, well, there's no curiosity about that.
That's true.
Okay, got it. So then the scientific community isn't addressing the real needs of the situation? Oh, look how... Shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up!
Scrambling.
Right.
This is true.
Draw our channels up and also pump up the dead children, up the backs of all of us who are ready to move on, ready to move forward, two ways of saying the same thing.
That's true.
In our own individual evolution. But now, in order to manifest the divine plan, no matter what anyone else does or doesn't do, what now? All of us who are drawing our channels up over and over again with the intention to improve and with the intention to hear the advice from above to the search for truth central axis, all others flung away, because if we don't even intend to hear the advice from above, we're fakers. We don't really want to know what's actually going on, no matter what our field of endeavor is. Oh, big argument.
Big argument.
Well, look, take it up with the guy who's talking.
It's true.
Look, just wait, look way up high. Take it up with him, that's what he's saying. It's more, let's draw our channels up with the intent to improve our alignment and hear the voices from above even more clearly. All of us who are intending, not just intending, because lots of people say lots of things.
That's true.
All of us who are repeatedly drawing up our own channels, each of us for ourselves and for the collective, with the intent to get better at holding our channels up, and with the intent to hear the advice from above, to the search for truth, central axis, all others flung away. It's a lot quieter.
That's true.
All right, let's start pumping up the dead children through us, not to us. The call to them and saying, all who want to go to God, come to the search for truth central axis, look up and go up. All who want to come to God, Come to the Search for Truth Central Axis. Look up
And
go up. Go up, go up, go up. See those rings of light? Go up through them, not to them. Keep going. Higher, 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 higher. It's so much farther than you think it's going to be. You're going to have to go so much farther, but isn't it worth it? Isn't the time going to go by anyway? Aren't you going to be doing something anyway? What could possibly matter more than heading for God? Meanwhile, I'm going to pump the dead children while they're doing an inquiry of what matters more. I'm going to go with the working theory, which is that nothing matters more than getting to God. And pretty fast. And God is a label for a consistent source of significantly higher vibration. It's a label for that which is of a higher caliber of expression than those of us in whatever dimension we're in.
That's true.
It's simply a comparative term. Some people want it to not be a comparative term. They want it to be like a medal that you get and then you're gone.
That's true.
I don't think it works that way. I think it's a comparative term.
Where's the head clearing feeling?
I'm asking what now in order to manifest the divine plan no matter what anyone else does or doesn't do. And our attention keeps getting drawn back to exhaling the dead, particularly the dead children,
That's true.
up through this dimension, so at least we aren't blocking dead children on their way to God.
That's true.
That's a good place to begin. We see a lot of people who really want to think of themselves as scientists in various and sundry dimensions, but they don't have their channels up.
That's true.
And they don't intend to put their channels up, and they don't intend to ask for advice from above. So it's not likely that they're going to get to anything of value that's going to make a significant difference. Maybe they'll get to tiny little incremental improvements in understanding, but it's not likely that any breakthroughs are coming out of their labs.
That's true.
Sorry to break the news, friends, that's just how it works. All of the greats in all areas of endeavor have at least an open crown so that truth drops in from above, so that ideas of inspiration come in. And someone, I believe it was Thomas Edison, used to sit holding steel ball bearings in one hand, attempting to get into that hypnagogic state that is an altered state between standard wakefulness and sleep.
That's true.
And that he would keep himself from falling completely asleep because the hand would relax and the ball bearings would fall. And
That's
so
true.
many of the greats of multiple fields of endeavor, including science, acknowledge this reality that inspiration comes from above. And Einstein said, I'm paraphrasing, I don't have any special gifts, it's simply that I'm intensely curious.
That's true.
All of us who are pushing up our channels, holding up our channels, drawing up our own channels over and over again with the intent to get better and with the intent to hear the advice from above, to the Search for Truth Central Axis, all others flung away. And now pump up the dead children. Whoom, whoom, whoom. My hands are suddenly getting very dry, like happened.
I also have suddenly very dry hands.
It's interesting.
That's interesting.
So we take as our working theory that someone has suddenly very dry hands.
That's true.
Because for both Ground Zero hosts to suddenly have very dry hands doesn't make sense. Something has happened. Someone has very dry hands, whatever that means to them.
That's true.
It's a message to someone. That other person's hands are suddenly very dry.
That's true.
Which seems to mean something inconvenient.
That's true.
But their hands are dry. Their hands are dry. Maybe their hands are supposed to be wet. Their hands are dry. Suddenly. Very dry. It's like they just pulled their hands out of the water and said, I'm not doing any more.
Suddenly my hands are sweating.
No, it's inconvenient information
That's true.
to this other person. The first person stopped. They pulled their hands out of the water. They
That's
said, I'm not
definitely
doing
true.
any more.
Hands came out of the water.
Hands came out of the water, and the second person is freaking out. That's right. Now it's your responsibility. Come on, step up. They aren't going to do it. That's what that meant. They aren't going to do it.
That's true.
It's not going to happen. And now it's up to all of us. What are each of us as individuals going to do to manifest the divine plan throughout all dimensions, no matter what anyone else does or doesn't do? What now?
That's wild. Now I have a very wet left hand and a very wet right hand.
Interesting. Here the dryness is spreading up. Now it's spread up past the wrist. It's to about here.
That's
Feels
wild.
dry up to about here.
I have wet hands.
Okay. Well, two different presences are being highlighted.
That's true.
They've started blocking the periscope views. They don't
That's
want
true.
to
I
be
had that
observed.
feeling of the blinds
Right.
being shut.
I did too. And you can't stop us.
That's true.
You can't stop us from being willing vessels for higher presences who are on the search for true central axis to use to see what's going on.
That's true.
Now the dry is all the way to the elbow, the dry feeling. And it's starting to come up the feet now, the feet and legs.
Wild. I have wet feet and wet hands.
Live streaming this up.
Where?
Wet feet and hands, dry feet and hands, and not just hands, but hands and arms, legs and feet.
That's true.
And it's spreading pretty rapidly. So to the person who's got the wet feet and hands, do it now. Do it now. Don't wait. It's not going to get easier. Carpe diem. Today's the day. Do it, do it, do it, do it, do it, do it, do it.
There's a head clearing feeling. Correcting the errors for the week that ends tonight at midnight. Correcting the errors for the month of November, start to finish. It's very quiet.
It's very nice.